Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Jacob. So, Jacob, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yeah, so my name is Jacob Zamora. I do a lot of different things. So I own two businesses and I do private security contracting on the side. So I'm based out of Kyle, Texas. Dropzone Tactical is a firearms and medical training academy. So anything from beginner training to advanced to private security training, we kind of do it all. And then we also dive into American Red Cross, CPR, first aid, and AED stuff. So Dropzone Tactical is all about creating a stronger community through firearms training and making sure that everybody can kind of be their own first responder and be self-sufficient. So, police take maybe 9 minutes to respond to an incident. So, you need the skills and training right then and there. My second business, Natural Selection, real quick on that, is a fitness supplement brand. So right now we only have one pre-workout out right now called Primordial Pre-Workout, all natural ingredients, everything to benefit the human body, no fillers, everything's transparent on there. So those two businesses, and then doing the private security contracting. So I just take jobs as they come and I do those on the side as well. So
How do you, doing all those things, how do you have like enough time in the day to run essentially three companies?
yeah, so that's a great question. It's a lot of time management. I wake up pretty early. I wake up around 6 in the morning every day. I'll spend time doing some marketing for the businesses, stay on my website as well to interact with any customers that might be on our site, questions, comments, concerns, things of that nature. I have a co-founder for Natural Selection. I have a team of 3, including myself, for Dropzone. Myself, our CPR instructor. Then we just onboarded a new instructor. His name is Tommy. And he just got on board. He's our pistol instructor. He's got prior law enforcement and stuff like that. So I got some teammates helping me there. And then the private security realm, depending on the job, sometimes I have the availability to hop on the computer and do some Dropzone work on that side. So
Awesome. So in terms of Dropzone, how do you find the best instructors to work with?
Yeah, so it definitely, resume experience is important, making sure that they have adequate experience and what our subject is talking about. Because there's just a few different ways that you can talk about training. There's some ways where it's, hey, I'm a competitive shooter, I shoot recreationally, I'm a hunter, or I shoot for gunfighting and self-protection. And we like to teach the gunfighting/self-protection version of it. And so with that background, you need to have at least some training that goes into that. And then continued experience. You can't just do 4 years in the military or a contract in the police force and then say that you're an expert at it. It's constant training that we look for. And then similar to what we do with our students, we interview them, of course, right? Moving on to the interview process with the instructors, we make sure that our personalities align, that our message and our mission align, and that they're suited for our students that try to get training from us. So with our students, we try to interview our students as well. Hey, what are you looking to accomplish? Are we the best fit for you? We try to make sure all the stars align across all boards so that training is high quality. We get high quality students, and make sure that our instructors are squared away as well, which we run them through a firearms qualification course that we've developed on our own to make sure that they can do basic stuff and you're not just saying it, right? So
In terms of students, right? 'Cause I think that's a big concern for a lot of people. It's like for myself, like I moved to Texas from Illinois about 3 years ago, but I haven't bought a gun yet because I don't feel comfortable. I haven't done like enough training. But how much training do you think that somebody needs to have to really be comfortable, with concealed carry, even being just a gun owner in general?
yeah. So that one comes into two different parts. There's time and then there's longevity amongst the days. So I would say if you were to train at bare minimum, maybe an hour a day for 6 months, I would say that you can start to develop that. Okay, I can kind of do this subconsciously for the basics, learning how to draw, learning how to get a side alignment, sight picture, without having to think about, okay, now I need to worry about my fundamentals. Now I need to worry about my sights and target and all this other stuff. And then past that, if you are able to go up to the live range at least 2 times a week and really practice and solidify those fundamentals and work under hot weather, rain weather, and all those different, unconventional weather conditions, about a year, you can really start to master the basics. Let's go to advanced training. So I think if you want to become a master at it, it's going to take some years of consistency. Just like if you're going to the gym and working out, it takes that consistent and discipline to go, even when you don't want to go and train on new things.
Cool. So, Dropzone Tactical seems to have a strong online presence.
Yes.
How has digital marketing and e-commerce contributed to the growth of your business?
I would say a lot. I market and do a lot of social media stuff daily. I put up videos on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we just got 100 subscribers, a little over 100 subscribers on YouTube recently, so that's great. And we've been pushing that out to give out just free knowledge to people. And I feel like that also brings people back to the business of like, okay, I've learned some stuff, but I need an instructor to really teach me that in person so I know I'm doing things correctly. And then, of course, we sell out email marketing of exclusive stuff, some free training, online programs that we have that we also give out for free, just for basic stuff that I think people need to know and doesn't necessarily have to be charged for. So I think our SEO marketing and our online presence definitely helps us spread a message.
Cool. And is it going same for the other business, Select Natural, probably?
Natural selection, yeah.
Natural Selection.
Yeah, so definitely with modern social media, it's easy for me to push fitness supplements and workout supplements rather than the gun stuff. Because I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but on the gun side of things, big tech doesn't really like that to be published as much on their platform. So fitness and workout stuff and motivation and disciplines that we like to give out to people is a lot easier to market, and it's helped us meet a lot of actual other local businesses and be able to do vendorships and partnerships and stuff like that.
So in terms of selling your supplement or even just for Dropzone,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much does it take in terms of like ad spend, or do you spend money on ads? Like, what is that like? Because like it's a very competitive space. Obviously, you have lots of competitors that are selling supplements. You have lots of competitors that also have gun ranges. Like, how do yeah, obviously, so you mentioned posting on social media, but do you have to like spend money on ads? Like, how do you even like set yourself apart from the competition?
Yeah, so to kind of break that up, as far as Dropzone goes, and well, business wide, I don't really do ads a lot. It's not super frequent. I've over there, I don't know. I'm not an SEO expert. I didn't go to college for it or anything. So, in my opinion, depending on what you push for ads, is you don't get the ROI that you expect. So with Dropzone, I stopped pushing it as much only because one, I keep getting rejected because it's gun stuff. So I kind of have to reword it sometimes or put an image that doesn't have a firearm on it. But I do a lot of more social and organic stuff, and I try to be different by offering a variety of different services that not other instructors and businesses are. I try to push out free content that others are charging for. I try to invest in our students a little bit more. So if you think of like a personal trainer when they work out, I like to bring that to the firearm side of things and be like, hey, did you ever buy that gun that we talked about when we were training? Did you ever do this? Did you ever do that? And just kind of follow up with them, because a lot of people think that they can take a class and then they don't have to think about it anymore. They can just kind of go on. Now they're experts. And so I like to continue to follow up about, hey, here's your path next. Like based off your goals, this is the next class that you need to take, whether it's with us or with somebody else. This is kind of the path to take. So I try to invest in my students and my team to be able to do that with our students. I've been to courses before where instructors, they give you a class and then they kick you out, and that's kind of it. And that's where it starts and where it ends. And I don't like that. I try to make a community of defenders. I try to bring the reality side of things with men. I try to make the message of, hey, men, you need to be men. Don't stop letting the wife try to take control. It's time to protect your wives and stuff like that. I'm a big advocate for that, especially nowadays. And so on the Dropzone side, I'm definitely pushing that message. And on the women's side, like, hey, it's okay to be feminine, but sometimes you need to pick up that trident and kind of go and, protect your own family, protect yourself. As far as natural selection goes, ads occasionally, depending on the circumstances and the situation, but we promote it organically, meeting up with other local vendors, talking to them, just showing up at events as much as possible, giving out free samples. And it's a little bit easier on the business side of it as far as finding opportunity. Because one thing that me and my co-founder had found out is that over our research and time, you find a lot of supplements that, one, don't tell you everything that's in it. Two, come up with these big flashy logos just to try to get you to sell it, get your attention, and then end up doing harm to you in the long run, or something along those lines where there's always something lacking in it. So when we developed our pre-workout, we spent about a year of development total. We spent up long nights researching single ingredients. Okay, what we want to stack on each other. And if you look at our ingredients, all of those ingredients, minus maybe 3 of them, are already produced in your body. And those 3 are the pink Himalayan salt, deer velvet powder, and then the stevia that's in it for sweetener, because there's no sugar in it. And everything else is naturally produced in your body. So your body can already produce, handle, and utilize everything that's already in it. And it helps you create lean muscle, burn fat, and keeps you that long cognitive focus without having to crash, without like a cup of coffee or other pre-workouts or other energy drinks. So, and we've gotten multiple feedback of people saying the same stuff. So we tested it before we put it out to market. We put it out to market, consistent feedback. And we've had maybe one person complain that's because they had some allergic reaction into an ingredient in there. It was very mild, but that was the only negative, if you will, feedback that we've got from our product.
That's awesome. So you mentioned building this community with Dropzone, which is really cool, because I do agree. It's like I took, a couple classes and like never heard anything. So how do you keep track of the people that come through your doors?
Yeah. So when people sign up for our courses, they go through our sales process to check out and stuff. On our website, automatically tracks first name, last name, phone numbers, addresses, and emails, because you have to sign liability waivers and stuff. And so I have a number that my students can text, they can call, and I tell every student that comes through our doors, like, hey, you can text us with questions. If you're not sure about what holster to get or what we recommend, shoot us a text. We'll get back to you whenever we can. It might not be immediate, but when we see it and we can get to you, we will. Email as well. Email marketing is phenomenal. I just send out tips sometimes and say, hey, if you have questions, thank you for being a student. I just sent one out recently for the hot weather that's outside, because our range is outdoors. So I said, hey, your training is still important. We're still doing classes, and here's why it's important to train even in not perfect conditions. Here's how you stay cool. Here's how we're accommodating those heat stuff, because I'm a big advocate for medical stuff. And yeah, so we try to, again, invest in our students as much as possible and accommodate them as much as possible to make sure that they're comfortable, that they're confident, because a lot of these people, it's their first time shooting. And so if they're already scared of a gun, last thing we need them worrying about is being uncomfortable in the hot weather or whatever weather conditions that may be out there.
Great. So, as you said, you are already contributing in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have are you contributing somewhere else as well, like other than YouTube and social media platforms? Do you have your own platforms where you are contributing about it?
Yeah, so on the platforms for like Natural Selection, for example, we don't currently have a YouTube up for it or anything like that. All of our stuff has been more locally and meeting people face to face, whether it be businesses and vendorships and stuff like that. Our social platforms is very motivational and very like, hey, I know it's hard to get up in the morning and go for a workout, but we're doing it actively and showing on our stories, hey, I'm at the gym right now. I don't want to be here, but I'm here, and stuff like that. So people can kind of walk in our shoes and be like, hey, other people are doing it, because you are a product of your environment. So if you constantly intake a message like that and you see people doing it actively, it might motivate others to go and do that as well. For the Dropzone side, social media and free network or free information on our stuff is super prominent. I give out as much free information as I can so people can take those tools and do what they may with them. If they want personalized stuff, that's when they can come in class and stuff. So
other than social media, how technology is helping your business?
Tremendously, because we can do online stuff. We can have online programs that I sell for people that can't make it in person classes. I use it as offers for my students. Like, hey, you might not know me as an instructor. You may have never taken a course with me, but try this online program for free, learn how I speak, learn how I teach. If you like me, cool, let's take a class in person. If you don't, cool, go on to the next instructor. So social media, I think, is a great way to do mass message on both ends of my businesses. But at the same time, it's a little bit of a detriment based off attention span for people. I can't teach people a year-long skill in 30 seconds. And so,
Obviously.
yeah, so it's about trying to constantly hit them in the face every morning and every day and afternoon and be there when they wake up to when they go to sleep. That's the hard part. The hard part is the consistency and making sure that I'm there at every moment of their day.
Cool. So, are you taking help of augmented reality, virtual reality, or artificial intelligence in any aspect?
Yeah, so yes and no. So when it comes to virtual reality, I'm a gamer. I like to game. So I'm a part of a small gaming community, and we play like virtual reality military type tactical games, if you will. And so
That's
there
awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
allowed to teach the younger generation those skills in VR. Now you can't obviously hear, super loud noises from the gun recoil and stuff, but you can kind of start learning principles and angles and rules when it relates to that type of stuff. You can get a lot of the ways there, and then you just need to make up that in person with actually holding a gun, going to the range, and all that stuff. So I like virtual reality. I think it's on a good path. And one of my thoughts was to open a facility based off virtual reality. You all get headsets and we all go in there. That way we can shoot at stuff. You can hear stuff. We can communicate with each other. And in a AC environment when weather conditions aren't great, and be able to move around each other and see that aspect and be shot at without being shot at, right? So,
Yeah.
so I think it's fantastic. Also, virtual reality has an aspect to go on the fitness side to work up a sweat. You're constantly
Yeah.
moving. I'm a big advocate for moving and doing stuff. So I play VR more than I play flat games, just because I'm allowed to actually move and interact and work up my
Yeah.
body. So I think that's great. As far as AI goes, I'm not utilizing it too much other than my frequently asked questions chat box on my websites and stuff like that. I think AI is great, but I think it can do harm in long term if you rely on it too much, because you begin to lack creativity at some point because an AI is doing it for you. And then you have to use less brain power, but I do think it's helpful when you're trying to output stuff quickly, or get ideas for stuff.
Okay, great. So, what do you think in next 3 to 6 months? Where do you see your business, and where do you see the virtual reality facility in this time?
Yeah, so the next 36 months, for Dropzone, we're in the middle of a project with local law enforcement to teach on a big scale, to teach a close quarters combat course on a big scale. So what I'm trying to work on right now is making sure that it's perfected for local law enforcement. So if within the next 36 months, if that goes through and they choose us to go with, I'll be spending the next maybe year doing that. So just training different agencies, different precincts and stuff. As far as the natural selection side of it goes, we are in the process of testing out new flavors and getting rid of our first product to make it seasonal, and then coming out with our second product, same ingredients, just different label and different flavor. So we're in the middle of testing 2 different flavors for that, and we hope that it's going to be great for everybody. So we're going to play with that and see how that goes, but it's going to be catered more to the female side. And I won't give away the name quite yet, but
So what is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started your entrepreneurship journey?
ooh, there's a lot of things. One of the biggest messages that I could probably think of that I would have wanted was be comfortable in the waiting, because there's a lot of waiting when it comes to having a business. The longer it's in the water, and the more you allow your message to be there and being consistent at promoting that same message, then the customers and people and the money will start to come. It's gaining the attention, making sure that it's actual, it's wholesome, and it's investing in somebody else, not just yourself, not just doing it for money. that will eventually bring people in as they start to see your message. And like-minded people start telling everybody else about, hey, did you see this? Hey, what do you think about this? It's easy to be like, oh, I have a great idea. Let's make a business. Let's do this course or whatever. And it's going to go big. And then you send it out there and then nothing happens. And you're like, but this is such a great idea. Other people might not think your idea is great until you tell them the why, until you show them why it's important in their lives. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that take away from being an entrepreneur, being in business. I wish I would have been so is staying comfortable in the waiting.
So if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going with both of your brands?
Hopefully they're both a lot bigger than where they are now, if I'm doing my job right. But probably bigger teams, more students, hopefully other events and opportunities that we get. I hope that our message gets expanded out more, especially if we do get to partner up with local law enforcement and teach a class on that aspect. We can hit more fronts and get more networks with who they train with and touch other people's lives and stuff that way. So hopefully if we come later down the road to be able to speak again, we're just bigger, we're better, and we're growing more.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way, if you can share like your websites, your best way to contact you about both of your brands?
Yeah. So our fitness side is naturalselectionsups.com. That's a great way to contact us. We have all of our information there. If you want to contact us on the Dropzone side for firearms training, it's dropzonetactical.biz, not .com, but .biz. Our phone number there is 512-522-9477. You can text us, call us, you can email us, social media platforms, and we monitor it all. So if you stumble upon any of our social media, you can message us, comment, or anything, and we will most likely get back to you relatively soon. So
sounds great. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we can chat again in 1 year from now to continue to scale both your brands.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.